Welcome to Nuano Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like and comment down below.
Okay. Are you alright?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Have you wondered why sometimes parents and teachers find it difficult to motivate teenage boys? The other day I was with one of my mates.
Mm-hmm.
He has a son,
Yeah.
and he was like, I don't know what to do. My son doesn't want to do anything. He is less interested in anything. I don't know how to motivate him. I don't know what I can do to motivate him. I'm tired. Do you understand? If he was telling me, a situation whereby if I can help him out to tell him what to do to motivate his son. So understand. So I was like, I asked him some few questions like, okay, there are some few behavioral attitude or some that things the teenage, especially teenage boys, they do sometimes. Understand? I
Yeah.
asked him few of that. I was like, is he lacking, finishing task? For example, if he like completing any task he wants to start, he doesn't finish it. He said yes. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
He like finishing any task. Once he start anything, he just lose interest.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's one of it. I said yes. Okay. There are a few things, behavioral signs that parents look at. You
Yeah.
can see a few of them. You understand? In those that teenage boys as well. You understand? Few of them, for example, they rather play than doing their schoolwork. You understand? Instead of them doing their homework from school, they stay in playing PlayStation or playing with their phones or be on the phone with their friends. Do you understand what I mean? So another one is they lack effort into activities. They're losing interest in activities they're doing. You understand? For example, if the child is doing swimming, they start giving you excuses. My belly ache. I don't want to go anymore. I'm tired. I got headache.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? They lose interest.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the few things as well. So, for example, they lack. They don't have any regard for anything. You be talking to, if you're looking at you, gone. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
There's no regard for anything. So those are the few things. As like he said to me, yes. He said some other stuff as well about that. So he was very worried. Okay, most parents it might ring a bell to them, like maybe they noticing a few of those signs as well, right? In their teenage boys, some of them teenage girls as well. You understand? So and he was very worried. He needed something. He needed to like know what to do to motivate his son. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is anything like as a teenager?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? I don't know. How do you see the question? How do you see it?
Well, as a teenager, in my perspective, first of all, maybe your mate or some other parent should look in the mirror and see if there are like any things they are doing as a parent that demotivates their child and things to do to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, why do parents always dictate what their sons or their daughters always have to do?
Okay, you mean when the parents become detectors?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was once a teenager, right? I still got my parents. Okay. So I remember when I was a teenager, I know where you're coming from. When I was growing up, my parents always, that's constant. They dictate to us anyway. They tell us what to do. They tell me when to go out. They tell me when to come back. Tell you, for example, if you come back, They see you on the TV, off that TV straight away. They tell me when to watch TV. They tell me who my friends should be. Do you understand? So I understand where you're coming from, but those days they be like, whatever they say is final.
But it's different than those days though, because there's like different things now. It's not back then. It's different.
I understand, but those days it was like, where you coming from is that why do parents always dictate to the children, isn't it? Telling them what to do and all that. You understand? So most times it bring the child. For example, you're telling the child what to do every time
Mm-hmm.
instead of it to motivate them. Now you're not giving them the opportunity to make their own decision. You're not bringing them into the decision making. Do you understand? So now you are the one detecting everything for them, which is not really good for their own self confidence. Do you understand what I mean? They don't have any say into it. In our days, that's the way it was. Okay? Now things have changed, like you said. Understand, kids, most parents, maybe you have to understand that a parent or a child, okay, is an extension of your upbringing. The way your parents bring you up, the way your family raise you up. You understand? Most times when you grow, become a parent, you understand? You might turn to start exhibiting the same characters unknowingly to your children, because that's the way you were raised up. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, most parents, they don't really understand they are doing bad. They'll be thinking because they love their child, isn't it? So whatever they're doing it for the interest of the child, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they're not giving the child the opportunity to
Have their say.
in decision making.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of like loving their child, maybe they care. I know the parents care about their child a lot and your mate, but maybe they're caring too much, because since we're at the stage where we have to learn how to take care of ourselves. Maybe they should maybe back off a little bit and grow by themselves a bit
Mm-hmm.
and stop doing everything for them.
Okay. Parents do most times what we do as a parent. I'm just giving you based on my own perspectives, right? Whatever we do it for the love that we have for the child, right? You understand? So most times parents do things because they do with the love they have for the child. They're trying to do whatever they want to do, just like to elevate or to help the child grow,
Mm-hmm.
maybe mentally, physically, whatever. You understand? But when you do it too much, for example, there are some parents, their child, they don't know how to do nothing.
Yeah, they'll become too dependable.
They become too dependent to the parents, isn't it? Everything they tie their two laces, they cooking, the dishes,
Yeah.
nothing. The child, a teenager, supposed to do dishes, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to do a lot of things in the house.
And then the teenager, the son, they'll become embarrassed and angry of their parents as well.
If they're not giving them opportunity to learn all the stuff,
Yeah.
isn't it? Right. That's what I'm saying. So because of that, the child become dependent of the parent. When they're out of the house, they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to do any task. That is not really good as well. You understand? Instead of that, to encourage or motivate the child, that's when it becomes demotivation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The child will not be motivated. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And at school, I've got a lot of friends who are grown up. They're really tall, and if you didn't know their age or what year they are, you'd think that they're grown adults. So, if they if they acted like a child
Mm-hmm.
or like a kid sometimes, or just messed around sometimes, and their parents said like, grow up or something like that, would is it like bad for them to do that?
Okay, a, a teenager, right?
Mm-hmm.
A teenage boy. Sometimes I understand what you're saying is that some of them they're grown. If you see them, they look like a young adult, isn't it? Understand? Sometimes they start behaving like children as well, right? Yeah, it's normal for a teenager to behave like a kid because they're still kids, isn't it? Understand? But why do parents say, like what you just said now? Okay, come on, stop that. You need to grow up. When a teenager start behaving, it become a habit. You understand? It become a habit to start behaving like below their age or something like that. You understand what I mean? They start behaving like children. Understand? Sometimes it's irritating, right? You know, but we parents sometimes we don't really like see it that they're still kids. Do you understand? Now you're looking at them as a young adult and you start thinking that they should be behaving like adults. That's why it become bad. Do you understand? They should still behave like kids. All they need is what? Just like to like put them right and put them in the right order. Tell them what to do. If they're doing something bad, you just like tell them, okay, listen, you're doing this way. Encourage and tell them how to do it in the right way. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So on that note, it's not bad for a teenager to still behave like a kid because they're still kids. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
A kid should behave like a kid. That's the way it is. Do you understand? That's what they're teen age. Do you understand? They're still like growing. Do you understand? Sometimes they're allowed to behave like kids, so they can still do that. You understand what I mean? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, for example, you imagine I came back home and I told my parents that I got 100% in a test that I done for school, like a very very big exam that like gave you your marks for the rest of the year, and your parents would say, so you're supposed to be getting high marks anyway. Why didn't you do better on the last one that you done? And some parents, they'll usually point out the bad things that you done instead of acknowledging that the good stuff that you did, because this could have a really big effect in the child's growth and confidence when they're older, because they'll start thinking, oh, I shouldn't even do this. I'm so bad at it anyway. And maybe some parents should think about that as well.
Okay, so what the question is, are you talking about parents not giving encouragement and support? Is that what you're pointing at?
Yeah.
Okay, right. I understand. For example, the child is like you just said now, you come back from school and you got good marks, and the parents instead of acknowledging that he did well in the exams, right? And encourage and motivate them, give them their praise. Instead, they point out the stuff that they did wrong, isn't it? Every time they keep on saying all the things that they did wrong instead of acknowledging the good ones, isn't it? Is that what you're pointing at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. I understand most parents. I don't know. Should I say is overconfident that they really like. They believe that the child
should be doing good in every single
should be good or like they have the ability to be in that
and that they
on that level.
Yeah, and like the last thing I said about failing, that they shouldn't feel like, oh,
they shouldn't. No, but no, they shouldn't. A child, okay, has to, for example, as you come back from school, you did well. You need to praise the child, isn't it? All right, yeah, that's great. You did well. Encourage and just give that support. Understand, instead of like raising the same where they're doing bad all the time, like you just said, the person gonna be like feel okay, oh, I know all the time I always do something bad. Next time when they do something good, they will not tell you anymore because what is it? It's still gonna raise the bad stuff, isn't it? But when you like encourage the child, telling them, okay, listen, okay, that's great, you did great today. You
Yeah.
understand? You praise the child. Next, wow, that's great, amazing, you did great. Encourage and just giving the praise instead of raising every time is only the bad stuff that he did this, he did that, he did that all this time. You
Yeah.
understand?
Mhm.
It's to like encourage them next time so they can tell you stuff as well.
Mhm.
You
Because
understand?
like don't forget, they still be young, like young kids. They still want attention. They want attention from their parents because if their parents don't acknowledge the good stuff, they're just gonna think bad of themselves, and they'll start thinking that they shouldn't even be doing any. They don't do any good to this world, and they they're not any. They don't do any part. They're not any. They don't do any part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Instead of pointing at the child, you understand? You point at the effort he did. You understand?
Mhm.
You did amazing that test. That's a lot of hard work. I saw you learn. I saw you reading those stuff. I saw you reading the book. I saw you reading in your maths, and you did well in it. Do you understand?
Mhm.
That's a good work. Keep up the good work. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right? The child will be like, yeah, he acknowledged that. Yeah, my parent. Understand? He saw my effort. He even see me reading those books. Do you
Mhm.
understand? Next time he's gonna give them that motivation, isn't it, to read and do more, because instead of pointing out, like I said before, pointing out the bad stuff. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be reading your books all the time anyway. Why can't you read your books? If you read your books every time, you're supposed to be getting, it's not only your math, English, science, you're supposed to be getting all of them. The same way you did now. You understand?
Mhm.
So that's what you're supposed to do. Go and do it. Read your books, all of it. That's what I've been telling you every time. Read it. That's what detective.
Mhm.
Detecting again, the child will be like, oh, together.
Mhm.
So, well, when you said, okay, right, great, you did very, very amazing. You understand? I saw you reading. Okay, that's good. Do you know how hard it is for someone to do that? That's good. Perfect. You did very well.
Mhm.
You understand? Go and rest. Find something to eat. You understand? How was it? How was the exam? How did he do that? Do you understand? Wow. The child will tell you what he or she did within that period. You understand?
Yeah.
Once that is going to be given that motivation to do what? To do the next. You got
Mhm.
that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is it normal for me to fail sometimes?
Yeah. It depends on failure. A lot of people are scared, even adults. They're scared to fail.
Mhm.
You understand? Most successful people, they fail every time. Do you get that? Adults, most of us, if we're honest to ourselves, we fail over and over and over again. Do you understand? If you acknowledge that failure is part of life, you have to fail in order for you to learn. You understand? When, for example, if you got a child, you have a newborn baby, right? The newborn baby start growing, it's gonna crawl. When it start crawling, right?
Mhm.
The next thing is what? Would like to stand up to walk.
Yeah.
On the process of trying to walk, what did the newborn baby does?
It will start falling.
Whenever it stand up, what happens?
Fall.
It stand up again. What is?
It'll fall again.
What do you do? What do you think he's doing?
Learning.
He's learning. But what was he doing? He's doing what? Falling all the time.
Mhm.
Did he stop? Did he stop him or her
No.
not to stand up again?
Mm-mm.
You see them, they start using their hand to hold the chair
Mhm.
or hold anything they see to do what? To stand up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what did they do? They try to pull out one of their feet. The second one, they start walking.
Mhm.
What did they do again? They fall. Well, now as they fall, they got 2 or 3 steps, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Next time, what would you think will happen? They go 4 or 5. Gradually, you see them, they stand in one place. They're doing that. What they're doing, they're learning what? They're balancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they balance properly, now they know the next step I'm going to fall, right?
Yeah.
And they do the next step, they stop there, they balance. Second one, they balance. Third one, they balance. What happened? Oh, I can't even walk. They start doing what?
They'll start
They
walking.
start walking. If the child, because he was falling and he didn't want to stand up again, what does that mean? That's when they become what? A failure. Do you done that?
Mm-hmm.
It's the mental stuff. Most people, they're scared to fail. Understand? It's very, very amazing for you to try things to fail.
Because you learn from your mistakes.
You learn from there. But the problem is that is when you fail, yeah, it's normal to fail. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the problem is when you fail and you stay down there, when you dwell in it, okay, when you allow your mental strength to take control of you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like you start seeing yourself as a failure. That's why it become bad. Do you understand? As a teenager, or as a young adult, okay, it's good to fail. You can fail so many times. The only thing is for you to do acknowledge and know the reason why you fell in that. Then from there, you will not make that mistake again. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You learn from it and move on from that. From that failure, it will become what? A positive and success behavior, attitude, or towards whatever you're gonna do. You understand? So most times, we parents, we normally we see ourselves in our kids. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you start comparing yourself to your kid or to your son in the age with their age. Isn't like, for example, when I was I was doing this. When I was your age, I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was your age, I've done this, that. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Then, but when you realize that your parent, when their grand, or maybe their parent is around as well,
Mm-hmm.
then they will say to you, no, you are behaving like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Because that's how, when your teenage boy or girl, they mostly they act the same as all of them. They act the same. I'm not saying that all of them act the same, but I'm saying that they act in a similar way.
Yeah.
Because when you're a teenager, you just feel like you need more attention from your parents, and also you're more emotional in that kind of stage because you always think people are holding stuff against you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And if your parents are acting that way with you as well, that will make it even more worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, they need more attention, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we parents, we go to work, we leave early, we don't come back till in the evening, isn't it? So when they come back in the evening, they're tired. You don't see your child, you don't see the son, or you don't even know what they did in school and all those stuff. Do you understand? The little time maybe you have with them, you're supposed to cherish it. Try to give more attention, right,
Mm-hmm.
to the child, and learn. Bring them closer. Know how things are going.
Yeah.
But most times because like I said earlier, the child is growing. You're thinking that he's an adult. He's supposed to take care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to take care of yourself. When I was your age, I do take care of myself. You're supposed to take care of yourself. And you forget that
it's different now.
It's different, and the child, the kid is a teenager. Does not mean that even adults.
Yeah.
Some adults even need attention as well.
Yeah, and
they need to.
Yeah, with the stuff that's going on outside of the streets as well. And since they're a boy, it's actually more harder because some people they especially like my skin as well. They'll hold stuff against them for stuff they didn't even do.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll start, because since the way they're walking, the way they're acting or anything, they'll start thinking that they're doing some stuff that they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but at the long run, you understand? Well, the bottom line, or I don't know how to say it, like, let's come back home, okay? The child or my mate is worried. He just need motivation, okay? Now when the parent is not there, it's not really close, it's not giving the motivation that the child needed. Do you understand? It doesn't really know how to like motivate the child, or it's doing a lot of things wrong. Like all the things that we pointed out, he tried to detect. Okay, it doesn't have the time to encourage and acknowledge the good things the child did. Okay, he's not like the child doesn't even know how to fail. He's scared of failing. Understand? You realize that most times the child will start having attitude issues. He's now insecure.
He's scared.
He's scared. He still have the, how will I say, he's not confident in himself. Understand? And when he get to that, what do things happen? The child is gonna be what? Vulnerable. And once the child is vulnerable, because he needs love as well, he needs attention. Any attention that you grab out there on the street, might be some people that you met in school, friends around, some people hanging around. Understand? When they start showing love, that's when it become bad. The child is see that what happens. He's got a family outside, and he start behaving badly, and before you know what is going on, his attitude, there'll be a lot of influence on his part. So those are a lot of things going on. We parents, most times we really need to like look into like you said, look into the mirror and realize few things that we're doing. You understand? In order to like bring especially our sons home, let them feel loved, let them feel motivated.
Yeah.
You understand? When they feel love, when they feel at home,
Secure.
when they feel secure, you understand? You don't need any motivation. They will motivate themselves. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, so like, you see, we have a future ahead of us as well, and we're thinking about how we're gonna live and how we're gonna provide for a family that we're gonna have in the future. And some parents, they'll tell them, but they won't tell them clearly. They'll say that, oh, you're gonna have a wife or a husband and you have to provide for your family, but they won't say anything. They'll just say that you have to do that, but they won't say, like, like, they won't say it to comfort them, or they could say it like this: you just haven't figured it out yet, but I know you will. Like, you're telling them that you trust them to know what they'll do for themselves.
You mean like giving them that freedom to like feel free to make choices, some things, understand? That to give them, that's what I just said before, you just have to like give them confidence, let them feel loved, let them feel free. You talk when the child is at home and he's secure, especially he's secure, he doesn't have that insecurity problem. You understand? He's secure, he's gonna exhibit confident, motivation is gonna come out from there because he's free. You understand? No one, because he already have that love at home, he already have that freedom, he already have those stuff, so he's gonna feel free. Understand? To get that. So yeah, I understand, because this is a little, how will I say this, most parents, most families are going through this. They might not say it out, they might not tell. Understand? Most of them are struggling in this time. And most kids, they need a lot of motivation as well. They need ways, they need help, but they might not get it out there because they don't really know how to express that. You understand? So, right. So I hope that most maybe this video, I will tell my mate to watch it as well. It might help him. He might grab one or two things from what we just discussed now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, right. Then going forward, hopefully there's someone out there that it might help. Understand? You know, a teenager, things as things are going now, there's a lot of social media, there's a lot of things. When we were growing up, it wasn't like that. There's a lot of especially social media, there's a lot of things happening. Facebook, every Twitter, TikTok, a lot of things going on. So it's very hard now for teenagers. Do you understand? A lot of grooming from phones, a lot of things going on. Do you understand? So I understand what my mate was saying. You know, he said in that it's hard for him to motivate. Do you understand? His son, it might be very, very hard for the son as well. It might not be motivation that he needed. Maybe he needs something else. Do you understand? But the way he is, like, he's losing interest in everything. Do you understand? He's doing. So that's what we're looking at. It's what parents have to, like, at least look and be a little bit mindful. Do you understand? To look into their sons' attitude, things going on, how things are going, get close to them. Do you get that? Before someone else will get close to them. Do you understand? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're out there, then you like our video, or you have any comment that you want to you have any contribution that
you want to say,
you can comment down on the comment section. If you have any ideas or how to, like, you have something that you have to tell us, or I have to tell my mate in order to, or someone out there as well that need their son needs motivation or need things to, like, how to encourage
any
them.
suggestions,
Please
comment down below.
Don't forget to do that. Thank you for watching, and thank you for coming to our channel and for the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.